is witnessing a change in technology. There is a disruption from the conventional means of doing work to the digital means of doing work, online means, and Corona has accelerated this process. In these times, we are witnessing a new kind of threat, and this is the threat in the cyber domain, cyberspace. Since technology is getting converted online, people are meeting online, there is society, there is economy, there is governance, everything is conducted online these days. And Corona has definitely hastened and accelerated this process. And therefore, we also see a defense mechanism and something that invades that process, that is cyber attacks. And that is why this question in current affairs becomes extremely relevant. It has been in news all the while, and in fact, the parliament has also discussed the same question, right? The question, therefore, is there has been a 3 times rise in cyber attacks in India lately. Discuss the reasons for the same and mitigation strategies. An important question. I'll read it out again. The question states, there has been a 3 times rise in the cyber attacks in India lately. Discuss the reasons for the same and mitigation strategies. See, I've underlined the keywords already. Now, one thing before we move ahead to the next step of discussing this question is that please note, this is cyber attack. We are not talking of cyber crime. So cyber crimes, for example, bullying somebody online, threatening somebody online, sexual crimes online, right? Child pornography, or following somebody online. These are not the type of crimes we are talking of. We are talking of cyber attacks, something that relates to phishing, whaling, ransomware attacks, malware attacks, all those kinds of attacks on individuals or on institutions, right? So this is an important keyword, cyber attack. And we have to understand various dimensions of it. What is the reason because of which it is increasing in India lately? One obvious cause you would say is the presence of work from home economy. All right, agreed. But there are multiple facets to it. And this is where I would like you to start focusing so that you might elaborate your answer in a spherical manner, right? So this is the first component, right? So you have to discuss the rise in 3 times. What is the reason here? And then second part is mitigation strategies, right? So these are the 2 important components. But before we get into the answer, let me give you a quick story of cyber domain and what is cyber attack about. So as mentioned, work from home economy, people have started to work from home. And earlier there were secure networks while we worked from office. They had office laptops, office internet, everything was provided through a secure channel. But now people are open in the worldwide web space. And therefore, there are lesser security barriers, and this makes them more vulnerable to cyber attacks. That means COVID-induced work from home economy. This is one important reason. Another important reason that we see is the transformation of small and medium business, SMB, into online businesses. So one very simple example is the pharmacy business. People used to earlier go to the shops to take their medical prescribed dosages, right? But now everybody is trying to convert it to online business so that you order it online and without even contact, without touch, without contact, they are able to deliver the ingredients or the supplies at home, right? So when they're converting their whole business to online, this is a hastily managed process, and it does not have checks and balances, and this results in people getting trapped. So this is where you will see more ransomware attacks. In fact, news says that now all the institutions which were researched for ransomware attacks, 70% of the SMBs, small and medium businesses, 70% of them said they have had to pay ransom in the last year, right? Not only that, when people are being attacked online on their work profiles, otherwise, so these attacks are also called as something. It can be called as phishing, right? So, for example, if you are using your data to enter into Facebook, right, your login password, and somebody creates a bogus website or takes your email addresses and your passwords because of some kind of miscreant's job, in that case, this will lead to phishing. In case this is done against a popular personality, it will be called as whaling, the big whale, right? So phishing, 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 and then whaling. Whaling is against bigger individuals, and we start to blackmail them because we know some of their secrets, some of the privacy matters, and this is what is happening. There has been an increase in the ransomware attacks, ransomware, people asking for money for institutions from individuals 3 times in the last 1 year after Corona, 3 times as compared to 2019, right? And if you compare to 2017, it has risen 20 times. I am not saying this. This was a response given in the parliament to the question asked by the minister, right? Not only that, there has been an increased number of attacks on government and governance processes. One good example is that of Air India. Data of as many as 4.5 million users was leaked out, right? Just because its data was hacked. So whenever a business is growing, you try to show that it is not in good light, right? It does not have privacy measures. It can also be a mechanism to disturb a country's integrity, right? Not only that, IRCTC, there is something called as denial of service. If we have increased number of spam emails, right, or increased number of some kind of malware attack, it will jam the whole IRCTC network and nobody will be able to book tickets. So this is called as denial of service. What is it doing? It is impeding the governance process, and it is happening. Why it is happening to IRCTC and the Indian government? Because it is very much possible that countries abroad, many of these attacks happen from China. They would not definitely want that India gains more credibility in space of e-governance, right? This can be one. They also want to ensure that they take a good amount of money so that they release these websites. Very simple example is, for example, Edukimi itself. All our database can be locked inside with the help of some kind of ransomware software, and only after we pay certain money, the whole data will be released and students will be able to see that. This is called as ransomware attack, right? We have not only seen these kind of attacks, there are security implications also. Attacks have happened on Dr. Reddy's, one of the important medical agglomerate in India. So fudging of data related to COVID, right? This becomes very critical because only on the basis of this data is the vaccine created. Not only that, lately the CoWIN portal has also been copied altogether, right? Some other portal has been created and people say that yes, they are getting registered for vaccine, a complete copy of CoWIN portal. Not only that, if you see Pune Pimpri Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, which is just around Pune Municipal Corporation, its complete agency was hacked. NHAI, National Highway Authority of India, its website was hacked. What does this talk about? The governance process, which is getting converted to e-governance, it is very much vulnerable. That is another angle of it. It is happening in these late times. And do you think it is only India which is facing it? No. That's a mistake then. See, the world's biggest companies, I'm talking of JBS Meat, right? So it is one of the biggest meat agglomerates spread across Argentina, United States of America, Mexico, Canada, Australia, right? Their whole website was hacked. Their database system was hacked. Most of their processes are automated. And if you hack a system like this, the food security also becomes a threat, right? Not only that, look at oil security. We're talking of the biggest companies in the world. Saudi Aramco, one of the biggest companies providing oil, petroleum reserves and oil, its database was hacked, right? So, and demanded a huge amount of ransom because of this. Not only this, if you have heard of the American companies also, their energy companies are also getting hacked because of this. So this threat is not just for India, it is global. And therefore, bringing all these understanding to you, right, I would also like to mention popular people. For example, this is Mark Zuckerberg. So if somebody wants to blackmail him by getting their data online, right, it would be very difficult to get his, his data. But in any case, if somebody hacks his website or his personal security numbers and they try to extract money, this will be called as whaling. And if it is done against normal persons, phishing, right? So there are various ways, various terms given. We have to use these terms. We have to use these kind of examples while we write an answer. So this is the quick background to it so that you are well versed with all the perspectives around cyber threat. And after that only we will be able to understand the mitigation strategies, right? So here we come to the question. The question states, see, reading the question becomes very important a couple of times, right? It becomes very important because only when we understand the right direction of question will we be able to address and process our thoughts and address that particular question. So the first keyword here is cyber attack. It is not cyber crime, right? Cyber attacks, right? There has been a 3 times rise in cyber attacks in India lately. discuss the reasons for the same and mitigation strategies. Okay. Now, before we get into the answer, analysis of answer, breakdown of the complete structure, and what are the mistakes, we will just want to see an overview of the answer. So there are 2 pages in this answer, right? The first page has the question, and there is a short introduction with another heading saying reasons for increase in cyber attack. I would not like you to start reading it, just an overview. How would it look like to an examiner, right? I have purposely not made it legible so that you may be able to read it. So first component is 5 parts of reasons why there's an increase in cyber attack, and then there is an image, right, and some imagery, something which is more attractive to the viewer, and it has got 4 different points. Okay, looks good, and then we have conclusion. So looks like it is a decently structured answer, right? I will focus as an examiner if the answer is structured or not. I will focus if there are key points, something highlighted or not. See, there are some blocks. See, there are some underlinings. So this indicates that yes, there are some key points which can be highlighted, right? Now, getting into the answer has a proper introduction. It says, India witnessed 1.1 million cyber attacks in 2020, a 3-fold rise as compared to 2019, and a 20-fold rise as compared to 2017. The budding linkage of economic activities and social development with the online services and digital infrastructure places India at a vulnerable spot towards cyber threats. See, so right now I have not gotten into explaining the reasons for cyber attack. This is a smooth flow. This introduction is a smooth flow, after which I will start with the reasons. But here I'm explaining some important data, statistics. So this is a statement given in the parliament itself by our minister, right? He says that right now there has been a 3-fold rise in 2020, 3-fold rise in the cyber attacks as compared to 2019. And these are 1.1 million. So 2019, there were 400,000 attacks, 4 lakh attacks. And now we have 11 lakh attacks. And just in 2011, we had less than 50,000 attacks. 50,000 to 11 lakh. Can you imagine this? So that's the point we are trying to communicate. This kind of data, immediately memorize. Nothing doing, no thought process, just memorize. And that is why we have simplified 3-fold, 20-fold. See, this is not only easy to memorize, this is also easy for the examiner to understand, right? And we have to make things easy for the examiner. We have to make them know that we know it, and we know it in a simple way, right? So this is the first part. The second statement says the budding linkage of economic activities and social development along with online services and digital infrastructure places India at a vulnerable spot. See, is the development into online stream reason for vulnerability? No, not necessarily. But it places them in a vulnerable spot? Absolutely it does. It is not necessary. If we have a better security regimen, it will be a better, robust and strong platform. But it does place India at a budding spot, vulnerable spot, because it is budding. It is budding. See, so every word will count here. Budding. It is still new. That is why. And I have not only included economic activities, that means work from home, social development, online, right? So we are talking of social media platforms, right? We are also talking of government online services, government services, digital infrastructure. So see, included all the components in introduction so that the examiner knows, right? Now they know that it is not only economic activity, he'll speak about a lot of things, all right, he or she. So coming to the main component which says what are the reasons for increase in cyber attacks. The first one says less secure digital network in the work from home setup causing phishing, identity theft, example e-commerce, home-based businesses. See, now the answer, the first point says, see, what are the reasons? The reason is not work from home. So never mention work from home. The reason is less secure digital network in work from home setup. Yes, words will increase. What will increase? But it will be directly focused at the point, right? So this is what will show your discipline towards understanding of things, right? So examiner also will not get confused when you just write work from home. So this is what students usually do. They just write work from home and then small and medium businesses, more attacks. No. You have to present whatever is the point pointed towards the question. So reasons for increase in attack is less secure digital networks in the work from home economy. And after that, give example, e-commerce business or home-based economy, right? Good enough. Okay, very good. Phishing attack, I have explained what it is. Identity theft, it is self-explanatory. Second one is the hasty transition of small and medium businesses to online setup. So when I wrote the first draft of this answer, I myself made this mistake. I wrote just small and medium businesses. No, having small and medium business is not a threat to cyber security, but hasty transition can be a vulnerability. See, that is the difference. So we have also given an example: increased ransomware attacks on small medium business. Contactless delivery is a good example, right? So where people are delivering goods through Amazon and innumerable smaller websites. Amazon is a big website, but there are innumerable smaller players like that, right, in supply chain. So they are at risk. I give the example of the supply chain of medical products, right? So these are vulnerable. The third is inadequate cyber protection of e-governance and online service provisions. Another mistake here, the same mistakes could be online governance, e-governance, but is providing e-governance a threat to cyber security? No. Inadequate cyber protection to anything is. So see, in all the keywords, there are some or the other ways we have started to mention: hasty transition, inadequate cyber protection, less secure network. See, so you have to, and you cannot use the same phrase. It means the same thing, but you cannot use the same phrase in all the three ways, in all the three sentences. So you have to have little amount of vocabulary, some words. For that you have to know some synonyms, right? Just like what has been mentioned here, right? So you are pointing to the answer. Every statement is pointing directly to the answer. So the third one says inadequate cyber protection of e-governance and online service provisions. Prime targets. These are the prime targets. See, now we are not only talking of businesses, we are also talking of attack on governance structure. National Highway Authority of India, Pimpri-Chinchwad Municipal Corporation, right? COVID portal, right? So these are the examples we have provided. See, denial of services on IRCTC portal, malware attack on Dr. Reddy's database, cloning of COVID portal. These are the examples you should be using, and they should be clearly understandable. See, that is why I have not just put a comma and put the answer here one by one below the other. So it is clearly legible to the examiner as well. These are the points. Everything that you're writing here will secure points, and write a few answers, 4 or 5 answers like this in your exam, and you will see the whole perspective of the examiner towards your approach, your approach to writing. It will improve how they will think about you and your discipline in writing. It will fetch you very good marks in that paper, right? So the first point says, it says new form of warfare against emerging economies. Example, attack on Air India database. See, this is another point, a very different point. It says that it is a new form of warfare on the country itself, emerging economies. Why? Does Air India not have competition with the American Airlines? It's just a question, food for thought. Does it not have competition with the Chinese airlines, Japanese airlines? They have airlines and they are far more better placed. And they would not want Air India to get reflected internationally in good light, right? Everybody wants their data to be in privacy and secure. But if you reveal Air India's database like this, who will want to trust Air India? Who will want to trust government authorities? See, this is the kind of warfare, new warfare. So another perspective introduced? Absolutely. It will make you, and then we have spamming of database by data aggregators, right? So Uber is spamming huge amount of data. Suppose, just suppose, in your emails, it will ensure that the other kind of emails will not be read, right? So these are the kind of attacks that are happening on our devices itself. Fifth one says individual attacks, high profile targets on social media. So hacking of their profiles or whaling of high net worth individual. This is the way. See, whaling is a process of capturing of whales in high seas. But whales are huge animals, no? Right? It's not only a tough process finding a whale and then having them. Japanese would do it, right, for the whales. But whaling, see, fishing, if you can just try to remember these. Fishing also relates to fishing, fishing, regular fishing, catching fishes. So fishing is for smaller fishes, but whaling is for high net worth individuals. You can remember like this, right? It makes your answer easier. So if you do this for people like Vijay Mallya or anybody else who is popular, so this is what will lead to high profile attacks, and you can mention this point very well. All right. Moving ahead to mitigation strategies. This is the second part of the answer, and this I have represented through an image containing 4 different sides, 4 different angles under headings. See, this is a far more better representation than just jotting down points, because I have figured out several points in each of them. and each of them will form an answer. You will have a look. You can have a look here. Innovations in architecture is first point. Second is institutional presence. The third one is preventive measures. And the fourth one is critical information infrastructure protection. See? So, in fact, each of them can form an answer if asked as a question. So this is helping you by ensuring that if you memorize, this will help in a lot of ways of understanding science technology, understanding the questions that relate to cyber security. See, the first one states zero trust, zero access, least privilege principle, data minimization, and multiple factor authentication. See, all of them as an innovation in architecture, security architecture. So the first one means zero trust, zero access. If the machine is not able to trust the person, their password, they are trying to enter the password again and again, don't give them access at all. Zero trust, no access at all. The second one is least privilege principle. That means the person will be given least privilege if they do not deserve that kind of privilege. So that simply means that the person will not be given authority to that kind of data which they do not deserve to access. They will not be given that privilege, right? Why disclose all the data to everybody? Only give it to privileged people. The third one is data minimization. Don't collect that kind of data from users, from common people, something that is not required. Right? For example, IRCTC, when booking ticket, will not require my home address unless and until it is for COVID. Unless and until it is for COVID, they don't need my home address. They don't need my family details. They don't need my income details. So why collect that kind of data? They don't do it. I'm just giving an example. Right? Moving ahead, the fourth one says multiple factor authentication. See, first authentication could be password. Second could be an OTP on the phone. Another one could be an individualistic question. What is the name of your dog? Right? What is your favorite animal? Like that. So these are the security architecture questions. See, 4 points there. Then the second one is institutional presence. It says having chief information security officer. Second is cyber crisis management plan, national cyber crime portal for reporting, security monitoring center to detect, and 24/7 CERT, computer emergency response team of India in response. And the fifth one is Swachhata Kendra app for botnet cleaning. See, this again forms an answer in itself. If you memorize all these 4 points, 5 points, this will form an answer into what the government is doing towards having cyber security. So there is an app, you can use that free of cost. It is also aided by Kaspersky and government authorities. You can clean your devices online at Swachhata Kendra app, right? Online Swachhata. Then there is a security monitoring center to detect the online kind of these kind of attacks, and it detects and it also indicates those authorities who are getting or vulnerable to attack. And there is a CERT in computer emergency response India team to respond to these kind of attacks 24/7, 365 days, right? Then we also have a national cyber crime portal for reporting of this crime, right? We don't have to go to a police station for this. So, and every government office will have to have a CISO, Chief Information Security Officer. See, so another answer in itself. But right now it forms a smaller component of a bigger answer. You remember this and you see the magic in the examination if a question, anything close to this comes. Preventive measures is the third dimension. It says digital literacy. See, this is talking about people-centric, preventive measures. Digital literacy campaign, right? Then we have periodic audits of controls, data traffic audit, and vulnerability assessment, right? Artificial intelligence, machine learning based, right? This is the third part. And the fourth one says critical information infrastructure protection. So critical information infrastructure are kind of infrastructure, for example, the energy infrastructure in the country, right? Not only that, what about the banking infrastructure in the country? What about our nuclear infrastructure? So all of them are critical infrastructure. Their information has to be protected and there is complete different authority for that. And it provides real-time situational awareness through National Cyber Coordination Center. See, so 4 dimensions to how we can minimize these kind of threats. 4 dimensions, right? And people largely, and okay, let us talk of the issues and problems after the conclusion. The conclusion says cyber threat is a new form of challenge for governance, absolutely, and economy, and it calls for innovative solutions. The future of cybersecurity lies in robust digital defense along with cyber insurance of stakeholders. See, visionary approach to the answer provided by saying cyber insurance is a need for future. This is something which has not come up lately. but it is going to come in the market. Why? Because attacks, now threats will not be physical in nature as much as they will be cyber, right? Cyber, that means you can, because see, all the machines are getting converted to digital machines, and in case we can hack them, and can we use those machines to bomb that country itself? Is it possible that India hacks the Pakistani missiles, Pakistan's Gauri missile, and it ensures that Pakistan itself nukes through missiles? Is it possible? Yes, it is possible in the times to come. India won't do that. It is an example, but that is the reason that we need cyber insurance to protect ourselves against cyber threats. Okay, so this is a visionary answer which talks of cyber insurance and robust digital defense. Okay, now let us look at the kind of mistakes that a student can usually commit. The first mistake I have mentioned a couple of times, but still important to mention, is the mistake of not understanding the question itself. The question talks of cyber attacks. It does not talk of cyber crime. Do remember that. There's a prime difference. Cyber crime I have mentioned is about crimes committed online against individuals. For example, sexual crimes, right? Child pornography, bullying somebody online, right, on social spaces. But when we talk of attacks, these are bigger in magnitude, right? This is first mistake. The second one is expanding one part of the answer and not expanding the other part, right? So for example, I have expanded on the reasons for these kind of attacks much, but I have not explained the mitigation strategies as much. The third dimension that could be a part of mistake is only explaining one dimension. See, I could have gone to explain the society's angle, work from home economy, and explained it, in complete one page, but no. I have explained not only work from home, small and medium business, we have also explained the e-governance, we have also explained the warfare against countries, and we have also gone on to explain individuals. See, 5 different dimensions to this answer. I would like you to have not 5 but 7 dimensions. Give examples alongside. And the second part of the answer, which says mitigation strategies. See, another mistake here, the fourth one that could be, you will only go ahead and explain the architecture of security or what government is doing. I understand we cannot provide so much of knowledge, but that is what we are here for. This is answer which can provide you inputs for at least 10 to 15 questions related to security, related to online security, related to digital infrastructure, right? So use them wisely. Remember each key point, it becomes important, and this is how you will not be able to commit any of these mistakes, right? Another thing is that I would always want you to remember some stats. I would always want you to represent some of your data through some images, right? This becomes more catchy for the examiner, right? And then a quick and small, very crisp, wisdom-oriented conclusion. For example, here is cyber insurance and digital defense, right? So this is how this answer discussion gets completed, right? And this provides a beautiful perspective into cyber attacks around the country and what are the reasons for it, what are the solutions for the same.